Welcome to the Marc Colcer podcast. How you feeling today, man?
I am hungover as a motherfucker. Hello, my name is Mike's dad, and I went to Cirque du Soleil last night and got really drunk.
Yeah, when you told me that you were hungover today as you were driving here, I was like, I wonder where Mike went out to last night, what bar he went to, whatever. And then you were like, I went to Cirque du Soleil. And I was like, out of all the things that you could have said, Cirque du Soleil was not one of them.
My life is a mystery. I feel like I do so much random shit on a weekly basis that I have no intention of doing. It's just random, like it just pops up. And then I'm like, oh, and here I am on Mount Everest. Like, doing something weird.
Fair. So how was Cirque du Soleil? Take a sip of your coffee. I know you need some coffee. There we go. He's got ASMR
I had
coffee.
to get the ASMR in there.
Coffee sip. There we go. So how was Cirque du Soleil?
Sponsored by Roast Umber.
There we go.
Cirque du Soleil was honestly a nightmare fuel to me. It was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. It was like not what I expected. I grew up going to like if I ever went to the circus, it was like Ringling Brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, where it's like the fucking big elephants and the
and they fire a thing out of the
lion, tigers and lions and shit. That's what I was expecting. I've never been to fucking Cirque du Soleil, and there's the acrobat shit was cool, but all the costumes and the choreography and all the dancing, I was like, yo.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I was like, I went to Cirque du Soleil, I feel like in Florida when I was like 15. I didn't even really know it was still a thing.
Oh, dude, it was at LA Live in downtown, and it was sold out.
Well, then they're doing their thing. Congrats to them. Shout outs to them.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing their thing, but I was like, how? How are you doing your thing? There's people in grasshopper costumes bouncing around on stage, and I'm like, this is what my average dreams look like. There's
like entertainment shows, and obviously like that's like a performance and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But there's certain like shows like CSI that I'm like, how are you still going? Like or
CSI,
Survivor. Survivor's been going for like 30 years.
Survivor's trash. Let's start with that. So is Lost. Wait, actually, Lost is an actual TV series.
Yeah, and that's gone. That's far gone.
Okay, no, Lost. Yeah. I've never seen Lost, but CSI though, come on.
Well, no. I'm not saying CSI is bad, but I'm saying CSI has been around forever.
No, I know, but like all they do is just make up a new murder every time.
This is true. And there's always.
I'm just surprised they just haven't repeated them.
Yeah,
they probably have.
There's great murder content.
Welcome to the Marc Colcer podcast.
Welcome to the Marc Colcer podcast. So for people who haven't listened to our first podcast episode or don't know who you are, this is our first one with video. So we actually did record one like 3 weeks ago, but we just realized afterwards that we just basically shot the shit for like an hour and a half, and it wasn't really a podcast. It was just more of us just like talking like we normally do.
Yeah. So
who knows? If people want us to actually put that out at some point, maybe we will. But for people who don't know who you are, who is Mike's dad?
He's tall and scary, I guess.
I can confirm you're tall as fuck.
Yeah, no. Mike's dad. Fucking, that's me. Hello. I make like industrial metal, like heavy rock music, I guess, in the metal lane. I've been a musician lived in LA for 6 years. Mike's dad has been around for 3, and it's been going great. I mean, I don't really know how to describe everything. I mean, I produce all my own music. I write, sing, rap, scream. I fucking one-man band over here. So
There we go. So if somebody hasn't listened to your music yet and they're pulling you up on Spotify right now, what song should they listen to first?
It depends. I would say like Sick. There's a song called Sick from my last EP, and that's more in the metal lane. And I think there's a stigmatism when you say metal, right? Like for you.
Yeah.
I know you don't listen to metal, Marc.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
But every once in a while I'll listen to some shit when I'm working out that's a little bit like more hardcore than you would think. Yeah.
No, I trust me, but there's a stigmatism when you tell people, "Oh, I do like I'm in the metal scene."
Wait, isn't it stigma?
No.
Astigmatism is the eye thing.
No. You're thinking of a fucking
Yeah, astigmatism is what I have in my left eye.
No.
Yes, Wait, I think it's stigma.
Yeah, this is gonna piss me off. Hold on.
Wait, I'll do some quick googling as you talk. I'll Google. Okay.
Say fucking whatever. There's a stigma that when you say metal, that like all it is like thrash, screaming, nonsense, and death. You know what I mean? Like people who don't know metal don't.
It's
know.
definitely stigma.
Fuck. Whatever. Regardless, I'm trying to get at it's like, 9 Inch Nails is in the industrial metal scene technically. Like 9 Inch Nails isn't fucking screaming. You've listened to 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Like Manson, Rammstein. I'm trying to name like industrial acts, but like Korn is metal, but it's not every Korn song is absolute thrash. There's different parts of it. Linkin Park was new metal.
Yeah.
And like Linkin Park is one of the biggest bands of all time.
Yeah, I love Linkin Park.
But you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
There's a stigmatism. I meet people out and I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, what kind of music do you make? Oh, I'm in the metal scene. They just think that you're making Slipknot, thrash, deathcore type shit. And it's like, no, like, there's a lot of singing and rapping and a little bit of screaming.
Yeah, like I would say I listen to your song "We've Lost Touch," like, and that's not.
I hate that song.
Oh, why do you hate that song?
I will go on record saying I hate that song.
Why do you hate
Fuck
that
off.
song?
I'm staring into the camera right now, FYI, if you're just listening to this. Because it's old. Okay, so that was like my first big song.
But that's fair. It's still a good song.
See, okay, so I'm, as a musician and as a producer, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm very picky in general. So that was early on in my career where I was primarily doing rap stuff, and I was, experimenting with singing. I didn't know, I was kind of going through vocal coaching. I was learning to sing, basically. I didn't really know, oh, hey, like for me, I'm a baritone. My voice is relatively low. I say relatively, it's fucking low.
Yeah, it's very low.
It's a low voice.
Yeah.
That being said, for me, I sing best between C to maybe E, maybe F. In that little bracket. That's like where I sing great. I can push it up. I can push it to, F sharp, G, whatever. I can sing there, but it's going to start getting pitchy. It's not going to be my pocket. It's not like it's a little out of my perfect range.
Yeah.
And so We've Lost Touch is in like fucking A flat, like G sharp. It's fucking high. I don't even play it on tour. I went back when I was in tour, like when I was touring in 2019. I never played that song on tour.
Well, then can I mention another song of yours that I listened to, and you could tell, because it's also old, but I'm still a big fan.
Stop you're giving me an aneurysm.
What song do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know.
An older song.
Is it rap?
No, it's Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, Jeepers Creepers smacks.
Okay, no. But I wasn't sure now. I was
because Jeepers Creepers, the thing is, the reason I don't like We've Lost Touch is because to me it's a little out of my range. So when I listen to it now, I'm like, wow, that's so pitchy. Wow, that's so pitchy.
Okay, fair.
That's me being my own fucking worst critic.
Yeah.
And that's me just hyper analyzing. But when I listen to rap shit, I'm like, bro, these bars are hard as shit.
Right. Like I grew up I completely grew up because it's not like he was around for super long, but like Hobson, when I was listening to his music growing up, like his music and Jeepers Creepers sounds very similar to me. Yeah. And I always loved kind of Hobson's flow and stuff like that. So that song reminds me of that.
If I ever do rap shit, it's mainly on like that East Coast like boom bap shit.
There we go.
I never grew up. I didn't grow up listening to like Lil Wayne. Like back, you're talking about like we're like the same age.
Yeah.
But like so when I was growing up, everyone was listening to like Birdman, Wayne, Eminem, like all the Young Money guys, like that kind of shit. I was listening to fucking Big L, fucking MF Doom, Gangstar, like shit like that. Like all the East Coast boom bap, Big Pun, Biggie, that kind of shit. Like that was always my stuff just because I don't know, I just never got into the mainstream kind of rap stuff. But I fuck with it. I mean, I started listening to Eminem more recently.
There we go.
But it's old shit. I mean, we're talking like Marshall Mathers.
Well, hey, I mean, I grew up in Michigan, so that's all we listen to.
Oh yeah, you guys eat, sleep, breathe.
I went to college with his daughter, so it's like it's crazy because when you like then hear him reference her in like certain songs and stuff like that, and then I'm like, oh, legitimately, she was in like such and such sorority, and like she was friends with this person and that person that I know, and things like that. It's like pretty crazy for all that shit to come pretty full circle. But yeah, man. So I want to start with we have two big festivals that you recently announced, and I am going to read part of this because I want to make sure I don't fuck this up because these are major. We had the Louder Than Life Festival, which is in September, and that's where again? Louisville. Yeah. And that's with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Kiss, Slipknot, Evanescence, Incubus, Alice Cooper, ton of artists. Yeah. And then you got Aftershock in October with My Chemical Romance, Foo Fighters, Papa Roach, and a bunch more artists.
You're making me sound really cool right now.
I mean, but that is fucking cool. So what is it like hearing your name mentioned with some of the greatest ever in rock music?
It's fucking so cool, dude. Are you kidding? I was super excited. Like when we got the ad mat, like the flyer back for the festivals, I was like so excited to see who else was playing. Cause like obviously I already knew I was playing.
Yeah.
But it was like, especially for, I think it's Louder Than Life, I'm playing the same day as Slipknot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, that's cool as fuck.
Oh yeah.
That to me, like I'm playing the same day as Kiss at Aftershock.
Yep.
And then playing the same day. This, I can just leak this right now because I don't give a shit. But I'm also playing Welcome to Rockville.
There we go.
Which is...
Where's that at?
Daytona, Florida.
Okay.
That's in May. I'm actually playing on my birthday.
Oh, super sweet.
Fuck, that's why I got
Happy
this.
18th,
That's
bro.
why I got this set. Fuck you. I'm turning 27. I feel like I'm dying.
Don't say that. I turned 30 in October.
It was terrifying. Yeah, no, but I'm playing the same day as Korn. And it's like, dude, this is so fucking cool. But in a sense, like, obviously I got to take it and then move forward.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds dumb, but like, I don't celebrate my wins as much as I should, I guess. And I think that's just a me thing because you know how much I work.
Yeah.
I work 12-hour fucking days every day, almost every day. And it's like, at a certain level, you have to be like, cool, I did the 10,000 hours. There's a reason why these things are happening now. Okay, cool. This is the end result of a lot of work that I put in over the last couple of years. Like psycho-obsessive amount of work. So to me, it's like, fuck yeah, we find out we're playing, we get the ad mat, I get super excited, I post it, awesome. And then to me, it's like, it's in the back of my head now because I have shit I have to deal with that's coming up. You know what I mean? So it's like that becomes my front runner, but I'm so fucking excited.
There we go.
I'm so excited to like just even be in the, what I'm honestly really excited about is to be like backstage and potentially meet these guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're backstage and fucking Corey Taylor from Slipknot's walking around or Jonathan Davis from Korn. And it's like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Like my manager knows all these guys and will be there with me at the festivals. So it's like, you know, easy intros. And all of a sudden, you know, you're talking to fucking the guys in My Chem. You're talking to the guys in Foo Fighters. You're talking to fucking
the guys you grew up listening to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the artists that you grew up like knowing as like, these are the greats, you know?
Oh yeah. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
And like, especially I think something that, you know, obviously is big in the Jesus, I have a fucking stutter today. Big in the industry is cosigns, right? Like, you know, these bigger bands or bigger rappers or bigger people, you know, they say, oh, cool, we fuck with Mike's dead.
Yeah.
And so that's the opportunity, especially when you put a face to the name. Like, I know I'm not going to throw names around right now because that's shitty in LA. It's a shitty LA thing to do. But I know big ass band people that I've been speaking to. They're like, yo, we fuck with your music, blah, 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 blah. And then that's how you land, you know, a support tour. Next thing you know, it's Mike's Dead's on tour with Slipknot.
Yeah.
You know, and Mike's Dead's on tour with Korn because I get to meet them backstage and shoot the shit, and they get to see the personality and the everything beyond it. And that's what I'm honestly most excited about.
Mike's Dead is on the Marc Colcer podcast. Like huge things, bro.
Mike's dad is an investor in the Marc Colcer podcast.
There we go. Marc's Colcer.
I started saying Marc's Colcer. I was like, fuck.
Marc's alive. There we go. That'll be my alter ego.
Marc honestly is very alive. It's very funny if you ever see me and Marc together. For the people that can see the video right now, Marc is normal. I am not.
Yeah, if you're not watching this on YouTube right now, I don't know what you're doing because it is actually the juxtaposition of the two of us. We were actually walking to a coffee shop right before this, and Mike's in like all black and he's tall as fuck and he's got these big ass boots on and shit, and I'm wearing a Michigan State shirt. First thing I say to Mike, I'm like, so are you watching the college basketball at all? He's like, no.
I just looked at you and said sport ball.
Yeah.
I was like, dog, you're asking the wrong guy.
Wrong guy. But no, it's funny how like you and I moved to LA basically at the same time. And so go back a little bit and kind of briefly for people who are, if there's somebody who's an aspiring musician who's watching this, how did you kind of get started? You moved out to LA to do what exactly?
What you're going to want to do is look in the mirror and cry a lot. Ask yourself, what have I done? No, I moved out to LA when I was 20. I'm 26 now. And originally, when I was 18, I went to the University of Maryland for 2 years. I was studying marketing and then moved out here, transferred to an audio engineering school and got a degree in audio engineering and music production, which is basically gave me the somewhat of a foundation of, you know, my production skills. And then through there, I worked on various projects for a few years, honestly producing around the clock, poor as shit. I mean, dude, I used to live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 dudes. Like, that's how you got to hustle through LA. I lived in living rooms for like 2.5 years after that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're not making money from music and I was working a part-time job at the gym. You know what I mean? Being like, all right, cool. Checking people in, giving people towels. You know what I mean? Like, you have to hustle. And I think the thing is with up and coming musicians, our generation and the younger generations, millennials, Gen Zs, whatever, we have this like stigma. No, that's the right fucking word. That, you know, things come easy and that, you know, we get things pretty rapidly. I think it's not to use this word, but it's a sense of entitlement. And people will work on something for 6 months or a year and then get frustrated that they're not seeing results. And it's like, that's not how it works at all. Like, I originally, you know, was doing a DJ project when I first moved here. I started DJing when I was like 18 and had a cool DJ project for a while. And then, you know, once I was like, nah, I'm good off that. Like, this isn't what I want to do with my own career. I started, you know, making beats for rappers. Started making beats for, you know, singers and shit like that. So that way I'm still producing. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, cool. My homie heard me rapping, just fucking around, freestyling around in the kitchen. And was like, bro, you have a dope vocal tone. You should rap. And I was like, you're high. What are you talking about? And he was like, nah, like write a couple songs. And I did. And he was like, you've never written before? I was like, no. He's like, these are very good. And from there, again, created a whole new project, never put it out. I have all these songs saved on my computer, and then eventually arrived at Mike's Dead. But that, you see what I'm trying to get at is like there's this slow progression of letting things happen organically. I think so many people like to sit down and go, I'm going to make fucking, I don't know, I want to make trap music. I want to make underground trap music like Ghostmane and fucking Bones and those guys. And it's like, you sit there, they force a name, they come up with some fucking stupid ass name that has no marketing value, that has no long-term longevity, that's not unique. And they force it all out. And then they get pissed that after a year, they're not playing fucking Rolling Loud.
Right.
You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I think it's just the persistence and perseverance is really what's going to get you through things. As long as you're putting in the work, your music will get better. I had to be in this one stage where I was writing every single day, just constantly creating and just I have thousands of projects on my computer that will never see the light of day because they're trash. Some of them that are great. They just don't fit my sound anymore. But you see where I'm getting at? I think that's my biggest tip for people that are getting into it is do it every single fucking day, even if it's for 2 hours. If you work all day and you get home at 5 p.m. and you have a 9 to 5, cool. Well, from fucking 7 to 9, work on music. Don't make excuses because nowadays the music industry is so hard and so saturated that you have to put in that extra time.
Well, and I think too, even, self-reflecting and kind of asking yourself, like, can this be better? Because when you talk about, like, We've Lost Touch, the song obviously did extremely well. So, on one point it's like that, but at the same time, you're looking at it and going, okay, but it could be better because I was singing not in my right range, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so even when, for people who don't know, if there's somebody who's a fan of yours and they don't know who I am, I'm a photographer. I moved out to LA to do that. And now I have this podcast. And so for me, a lot of times it's looking at my podcast and going, okay, why is it that this episode does really well and this one doesn't? And then, Mark, your questions in this episode, they sucked, And so you can still be proud of yourself of like, I'm doing things, like I'm making shit happen, actively working every day on getting things going and stuff like that. But at the same time, you do have to be a little bit self-critical of, okay, are there things that I should be doing better and can I do better? And if so, I need to do better. And I think that goes back to, there are some things in our generation sometimes of like, we do things for like 6 months and we're great at it. And it's like, no, like you mentioned earlier, you got to put in that 10,000 and that 10,000 means you're continually getting better and better and better. Yeah. I guarantee I'll listen to this podcast episode a year from now and be like, oh, Mark, your questions in this were trash. But that's the whole thing. I'm still putting in my 10,000. And until I've done that, like I'm actively working to get better.
That's the thing is a lot of people forget that in the word entrepreneur, right? Which musicians, dancers, creatives, TikTokers, I don't give a fuck what you do. But behind that, the word entrepreneur has somewhat to do with business, right? You're running a company.
Yeah.
And that is something that a lot of people unfortunately forget. I know some of the most talented artistic people in the world. Like I'm talking like some of the best musicians I've ever met that probably will never be full-time musicians because they don't understand business. They don't understand that like this is a job, right? Like this is like Mike's Dead is a company outside of the brand, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you have to sit there and do market testing, which is putting out a podcast episode and saying, this sucks 6 months later, putting out a song and then having it flop. Yeah. Putting out, and which has happened, bro. It's like I've put out some of my favorite songs, and this is something that every musician can attest to. Your favorite songs always do the worst.
Is there a song that comes to mind for you of a song that you thought was going to do great that didn't?
Oh, yeah, this song I have called Buck Wild. That song is my manager's one of my manager's favorite songs and like top 3. And he just fucking loves that song. Anyone that I show that song to, they're just like, this shit's hard as fuck. And it got completely slept on. Like it got so slept on. And to me, I loved the song. I spent like probably like $1.5 on the music video. And then the music video, like this girl was painting like a pentagram and blood on my chest. I remember when I said my life is weird.
Yeah.
She's this chick's painting a pentagram and blood on my chest, fake blood, obviously. And it was just too graphic for YouTube. So then YouTube flagged it.
Oh, okay.
They kept it up, which is great, but they flagged it. So it only ended up, I even think now, like you know, a year and a half later, it has like 30,000 views, which is like not good comparative to my other videos.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to do market testing. You have to fail. You have to see what works and what doesn't, and then improve from there, because that's part of things. And that's why, obviously, like, if I thought We've Lost Touch was such a bad song, I'd take it down.
Right.
It's not a bad song. The melodies and the songwriting there, the production's phenomenal. I like the production on that's still great. But it's, you know, you have to learn from the growth of your career. It's not just an overnight thing. And if it is, then there's no longevity.
Right. Right. So, okay, so you mentioned that you've been in LA for 6 years, and you've also talked recently about moving from LA.
That is happening.
So, are you ready to say where you're going or not yet?
Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, where are you going?
I know last time we talked, I couldn't really talk about it. So, I'm moving to Nashville in 2 weeks, right? What day is today?
You're leaving
17th.
me. You're leaving me.
Yeah, I'm big out. So, the reason I'm still here as of now, I'm actually paying for my spot in Nashville and paying for my spot in LA right now.
You got money.
No. The house was so sick.
Yeah, that you didn't want to lose it.
Mark, have I showed you that?
Yeah. You showed me photos.
It's a black house.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the way I dress. I have more fucking bells and whistles and loops and zippers on my body than most people have in their house.
Fair.
But it's a black house.
Yeah.
It's a goth house. I'm so happy. So finding that house, I had to lock it down. And that's why I couldn't get out there until April. But I was like, yeah, they want someone to start March. So I was like, fuck it. I don't care. I'll pay double rent. But that being said, the reason I'm still here is because I have a big LA show at the end of the month, which you're coming to.
Yes, sir.
It's like my big LA headliner, and then like kind of like my going away party, because I've lived here for 6 years, and obviously I know a lot of people, and you know, the city has served its purpose. But to me, you know, obviously the downhill slope of what LA has become is time for me to see you later. Because the house I have in Nashville is like, it would be like $6,000 a month here, which I would obviously not be able, I would never fucking pay that much, but like it's $2,800, and it's so much cheaper. The property value is different, like not property value, but like the value of the city, of what you get there. You know what I mean? LA is. I heard that I was literally 3 nights ago. I'm laying in bed, and gunshots, like literally down the street. Which
sounds of LA.
Which I don't care because I'm from DC, but like, I know the difference between fireworks and gunshots, and it's like, oh, I always hear fireworks. That one was definitely gunshots. And it's like, welcome to LA. What are you going to do? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to move to Nashville. I'm more excited about the fucking show at the end of the month, which if you listen, and I'm going to talk about that for 2 seconds. The show's called Freak Show. It's 4 bands, including Mike's Dead. We have the Haxons, which we actually just added, which is fucking Piggy D is the bassist from Rob Zombie.
Oh, very cool.
He has a side project called the Haxons, and it's him and Ashley Costello from New Year's Day. And so she's the singer, he's like the bassist and guitarist, and it's a super fucking cool, like it's super fucking cred band. So we just added them as the co-headliner. It's on March 31st, downtown LA, all ages.
Where can people go to buy tickets?
Just go to mikesdead.com, scroll to the bottom, all the tickets are kind of there. But yeah, no, dude, it's going to be, I'm telling you, like I've already started rehearsals, obviously, because it's in like 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks now. But yeah, I mean, the rehearsals are fucking fire. I have a rehearsal right after this.
So here's what we got to do. We got to give people a test. What is a word that people can say to either of us, because we'll both be there. What word can people say to us at the show to prove that they listen to the podcast and that they're listening right now? Give a random word, Mike.
Fuck. Can't be fuck, because I use that way too much.
Super random word.
Roast?
No. Unicorn. Just something random.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Unicorn.
If you're listening to this podcast right now and you see me at the show, which I stick out like a sore thumb because I'm 6'4" and terrifying, come say unicorn to me, I guess.
Yeah, and if you
I'll be lurking backstage, but I might walk around after.
And if you see me, a guy who looks like he doesn't belong at that show, just come up to me and say unicorn, and we'll know what you're talking about.
Watching Mark at this show is going to be one of the funniest things to me.
I'm gonna have a few beverages.
Oh, I would hope so.
Yeah.
But if I see you in the mosh pit, I will be very excited. I'll be genuinely excited to see you.
You see me just punch the fuck out of somebody. Bro, you're like, damn, Marc.
I want to see you like fucking shoving motherfuckers around and just going nuts.
To be fair, these glasses are brand new, so if somebody were to punch me in the face,
you don't get punched anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Nah, like I feel like the last time I was in a pit was Knotfest for Slipknot and Bring Me the Horizon, and it was fine.
Look, well, you're also 6'4".
No, I know, but like there's some big ass motherfuckers that go to metal shows, like some thick boys.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like I think Pitts back like a long time ago before social media, before everything were like terrifying.
In like the 80s, 90s, that shit was
I mean,
crazy.
people were throwing elbows and shit. Yeah. That shit doesn't happen anymore. Like now it's like if someone falls, the whole pit will stop on a dime. If someone falls down, the whole pit usually stops on a dime to just you create like a barrier so that everyone, someone can help that person up.
Well, good. That's how it should be. Good vibes.
Like that's how it is. Cause like, especially in like circle pits when everyone's just running in a circle.
Yeah.
If someone trips and falls, which has happened, I've tripped and fallen, and people literally will stop everything else and just go to help pick you up because you got to look out for people.
That's how it should be. So, hey, if you're coming to the show, if you see somebody slip or fall or whatever, help them out.
Yeah.
Because that's what Mike's dad does, okay? That's what the whole family's all about.
Bro, I stopped a show one time because these two moms were fighting.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2019.
Two moms fighting.
Wait, hold on.
That's not something you see too often.
It was my last LA show. That's mad funny.
Well, let's see what happens at this show.
These two moms were like literally attacking each other. Like
God,
three people back from the front of the stage, and I literally like stopped my song and was like, "Yo, we don't fucking like." I literally was like, not yelling at them, but just being condescending, be like, "Yo, we don't do that shit here." Like blah 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 blah. Break it the fuck up or get the fuck out. Like,
hey, that's fair. Yeah. No,
I don't know. It's mad funny.
I would do the same. So
always look out for each other if you're at shows.
So if you want to come, we'll do one last plug for it. So if you want to come to the LA show, you should. If you're in Los Angeles, if you're within driving distance, if you're a quick flight away, come on out. Go to mikesdad.com, buy tickets. If you see one of us at the show, say unicorn, and we'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. It's called Freak Show. I better see you there. March 31st.
There we go. All right, so you mentioned, okay, you've been in LA for 6 years. We talked about that for a second.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest difference between Mike's Dead 6 years ago? Obviously, I know the artist project wasn't a thing back then, but like you as a person, 6 years ago versus yourself now, like good, bad, what are the biggest differences between yourself?
Give me a second to arrive at how I want to properly word this.
Yeah.
I think, so LA naturally, and this is something, especially if anyone's listening and you're like, I want to move to LA and I want to be a creator. You don't do it, because this city ruins people. And like you can attest to this. I've watched so many people come here and after a year, they completely change their personality. They become pretentious. They go, quote unquote, they go LA. You know what I mean? They become conceited and pretentious, and they start playing these games to fit in and seem successful, or seem that I don't give a fuck if you think I'm successful or not. I don't even think I'm successful most of the time, let alone like after you name all these fucking cool festivals I'm playing, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I am pretty cool. But like, I'm so hard on myself that I can't allow myself to have this fucking ridiculous ego.
Yeah.
Even if my accolades and my credentials are awesome, I have to just ground myself, because once I'm selling out Madison Square Garden is when I can have a cool fucking big ego. Then you can go Kanye West. You know what I mean? Then you can lose your fucking shit. Problem is, LA, people come here, they get a little bit of success, they get a taste, and they start treating their friends differently. They start treating everyone who helped them, who's known them for years, they start treating them like shit. That's my biggest, pitfall with LA is the people. And I'm not talking about the people from LA, because obviously the people from LA are great, but it's all the transplants that come here and change their personalities and start, stabbing you in the back and shit like that. So for me, to answer your question, my guard is just so much more up now. I don't like when I first moved here, and even now, like despite my appearance, I'm a very social person when we're all out. I'm fucking talk to everybody, but unless I don't know, I'm just very like cool, like what's up, blah blah blah. But the second that you want to start getting involved in my personal life or anything like that is when my kind of guard just immediately goes up, because I don't know what your intentions are. And that was something when I first moved to LA, I had heard about it. Oh, everyone in LA uses people. Everyone there, like watch your back type situation. I'd heard it, but you don't know it until you really experience it, especially like through multiple friend groups of like, oh, this person over there and this person over here and blah, 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 blah. Because I know damn well a couple of friends of mine, quote unquote friends, that in the next year, because the next 2 years for Mike's Dead is going to be very big. That is a fact. Like I can't say what's happening, but they're going to be very big years. And in that time duration, friends that, might have seen me kind of, everyone kind of plateaued during COVID, because obviously we couldn't tour, we couldn't do a lot of things, but they're going to come right back. They're going to come, hey man, what's up? We haven't talked in a while. How's things going? Because you see I'm announcing fucking that I'm touring with Slipknot or I'm touring with Korn. You see where I'm getting
at?
Oh yeah. And that's the shit. That's really what has fucked me up as a person being here, because I'm, you know me, I'm incredibly empathetic, and I try my hardest to be a good person and a good friend. And so when people just randomly kind of fuck you over, it's like, yo, I have trust issues now, because I don't know what you want from me. I don't know if you're pretending to be my friend for 2 years because you see that I have music accolades and that you want to do music. You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah. And I definitely see that LA is a city where everybody moves here with something that they're pursuing. And that's obviously very different than most areas, because most places you work a 9 to 5, and the only advancement that happens with your career typically happens when you're at your job, right?
Yeah.
With us, it's like, it happens from connecting with people. And so when you do meet somebody, there is a solid chance that person can do something to help you out, right?
Help you or burn you. And that's also another fucking terrifying thing.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I'm fucking East Coast. You're Detroit, which is that Midwest?
Yeah.
Technically,
yeah.
I don't know if it's grouped.
Yeah, we call it Midwest.
I didn't know if it's grouped at Midwest. But like East Coast motherfuckers are an asshole. Like we're all assholes. Well, I'm nice. I'm nice as shit, but I'm an asshole. Like I know that. But that being said, West Coast people, LA people are sensitive, very sensitive. You can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I rattle a few cages, obviously, is what I'm trying to get at. So people, if you have a bad first impression with somebody, or like say if somebody's like, I can tell you, this is the hard part, because everyone needs a villain in their story, right? It's easy to paint me as that person, especially like when people don't get their way, and it comes from this entitlement type shit where I meet somebody and they're like, yo, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, nah, I don't really use Instagram like that. Like I use it as a business thing. Like blah, 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 blah. And they take it the wrong way because I don't follow them back.
Well, because even like on Twitter, I think you only follow like 60 some people, right?
Yeah. On Instagram, I follow like just over 100 something people.
Yeah.
And think about how many fucking people I know. I've been here for 6 years. But that's what I'm saying. It's like people take that shit the wrong way. Oh, he didn't follow me back. He thinks he's too cool for me. Blah, blah. No, I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know you personally or on a business level to even adhere to that situation. So then they walk away thinking, oh, Mike's an asshole.
Right.
He's an egotistical fucking narcissist or whatever the fuck you want to call me, which I don't care. But do you see where I'm coming from?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the hard part out here, is because in New York, you know, someone mid-conversation can look at you and go, hey, man, can you fuck off? Mm-hmm. And motherfuckers will be like, all right, okay. Like, I mean, like, unless you're really going to start a fight over it. But, like, people just don't care. Like, you're just kind of assholes.
Right.
Out here, you say that shit to somebody, it's like you just offended their mom, their family, their grandma, and everybody that they've ever met. And so then they walk around and shit talk you to a bunch of their friends. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's how like I've met people out here that have like bad raps, and it's because they just don't get along with like everybody. I don't want to be everybody's fucking friend. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like,
yeah.
I don't need to be everybody's friend. I don't need everyone to like me, because I fuck with myself. I fuck with my close friends. I fuck with you. I fuck with all the people that come into the show, all the fans. I don't need a super massively large circle. But then they want to paint you as the villain. I don't know. I've never experienced that before LA. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's one thing like to not get along with people, but in LA, it's like, oh, well, he didn't follow me back, or he didn't do a song with me, so I'm going to run my mouth to 10 of my friends and tell everybody that this person sucks.
Well, and I think part of it goes to, with everybody out here pursuing a dream, when you feel like you meet somebody that could help your dream, right? Like, for example, obviously, like me having the podcast, there's times I meet somebody where I'm like, damn, if they came on my podcast, that would be massive, right?
Yeah.
Like when I had you on the first time you were on my podcast, like I knew, okay, obviously you and I have been tight, but I also knew, yeah, it'll do numbers when Mike comes on because he's got a loyal fan base and things like that. And so then I think when you meet somebody that you're like, maybe you're not like, you and I had known each other for years before you came onto my podcast.
Yeah.
But when you meet somebody that you're like, damn, this person could legitimately do a lot to help me out. I think there's that part of you in LA where you almost forget that person's a human. And so you need to build a connection with them, because if you immediately ask anybody for something right off the bat, they're going to be like, dude, what the hell? Like,
bro, that's why I don't like the whole Instagram thing.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I give my fucking phone number out more than I give out my Instagram, because it's like, oh, I fuck with you as a person. Here's my direct line. Text me, call me, FaceTime me, tell me how your day's going.
Yeah.
Like, just hit me up. Be a friend. Before we do business together, let's start being friends before we do business together.
Yeah.
And that to me, like, it just builds off your point, where it's like, I would rather create a connection and have some chemistry, because I know musicians that would fucking, the right feature can really help a musician.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in their DMs being like, hey, what's up, man? You want to do a song? Oh my God, I love you. Fuck off.
Right. I just went personally and unfollowed probably like, because with photography, I've met so many different people,
I'm sure.
and you have kind of a close, intimate thing, right? Because you're shooting one-on-one and you're getting to know each other as humans. And so I would go and I would follow everybody, right?
Yeah.
And then probably in like December, I was like, dude, you follow so many people that you truly don't have a relationship with, right? Like you had a moment where you did a photo shoot and you got to know each other and stuff, but you're not like, they don't check in on you. You don't check in on them. You're not really friends. So I went and unfollowed probably like 2,500 people, right?
2,500
Bro,
people?
Took me a minute.
Good for you.
Took me a minute.
No, that's good, though.
And it felt super liberating.
Yeah.
And then I also had a lot of photos. I don't even think I've ever like publicly said this. I had a lot of photos that I've taken. Like I've taken a lot of like lingerie photos and things like that because the person that I was shooting with wanted that, right?
Yeah.
Those really aren't my favorite photos to take. Truly, like my favorite photos to take are like the really, really pretty ones with somebody who has like really pretty eyes and you get the sun hitting them and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Those photos are my favorite. Those photos don't tend to do numbers and things like that, but those are my favorite. I went and untagged myself from a bunch of like lingerie photos and shit because people look at those and go, well, that must be what Marc likes to take. And it's like, no, I'm a dude who's paid to take what the model wants to take. So if they're shooting for Honey Burdette, a lingerie company, and they're booking me for that, then yes, I have to take those photos. But that doesn't mean those are my favorite photos. And so I said to myself one day, I was like, well, dude, if you want to stop having people think that that's what you like to take, maybe, I don't know, untag yourself from those photos, because just because you take a photo doesn't mean you have to be the world's biggest fan of it, right?
Yeah, of course, because it's brand association at the end of the day. And
right.
As a person, as a businessman, you don't want your business to be associated with, or not associated, but I guess riddled with those types of things.
When that's not always me. Like
exactly,
23-year-old me probably enjoyed that, right?
Yeah.
But 30-year-old Marc, like getting closer to 30, like I'm a different human. I'm not the same guy that I was at 23. Like, and so at 30, I'm a grown ass man, and like there's certain things that I want my name to be associated with, and there's certain things that I don't. And I also don't want everyone to have a preconceived notion of me just based off the content that I have taken.
Oh, because you want to talk about preconceived notions?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that.
Look at my fucking No, but like I'm serious.
Yeah.
Look at my fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this fucking show, sorry, I'm gonna stop.
Go for it. Yeah, you're
cussing so much. Sorry, I cuss every other word. If you're listening to this show and not watching it on YouTube, and you don't know who I am, go look at my Instagram right now. I'll take time. I'll wait. Well, that's the thing, is because people see that online and they're like, "Yo, this kid is terrifying." I don't think I'm terrifying. I think I'm normal. I think I'm a lap dog.
Yeah.
But like, you get this preconceived notion where there's this 6'4" tattooed kid covered in blood, and people are like, "Oh, that kid's terrifying." And then it's easy, like I said, to be the villain. Like, how many people of those 2,500 people you think are gonna walk away from that and go, "Marc unfollowed me"?
Oh, trust me, I've gotten comments.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, you unfollowed me. You're too cool now, or you're whatever the fuck they're gonna make up. But it comes down to ego issues, I think, and that's the thing with LA, is trying to keep yourself humbled and trying to keep your ego in check, because nobody out here has their ego in check. And when you check them, which I'm East Coast, bro, I'll check you for no reason, they hate you for that. If I catch a friend doing some fake shit and some weird shit, I catch you talking behind my back and I address it, I don't want to fight you. I don't want none of that. I just want to text you and say, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, so this is what I heard from blah, 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 like blah, blah, blah." They go off on you, and then you're the villain.
Right.
You called them out on their shit. No one likes to be told that they're doing shit wrong. And this is not my city to do that in. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, for Nashville, let alone like the change of like, better quality of living and so on and so forth, it's like, bro, it's more of a normal place. LA is the only place that's like LA in the whole country. It's a bubble. We've been over that. So, to each their own. I know people who kind of like LA. I mean, we said it before we got on the podcast. It's like, if you've lived here for more than 2 years, you kind of hate LA.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is.
It serves its purpose. Obviously, there are people who are born and raised in LA, and they live a very different lifestyle than the people who are transplants here like we are,
exactly.
and who are coming here to pursue a dream and things like that. And so, for yourself, like, obviously going to Nashville, that's a completely new chapter, right?
Very different.
So do you feel like there's pressure sometimes to act a certain way because of the way that you dress and Mike's dad and things like that? So is there, I guess, like this, like, let's say one day you wake up and you're like, I don't want to wear all black anymore. Like,
that'd be a weird cold day in hell.
But like, what if that happens? Is there pressure for you to act a certain way, or do you feel like you could just, if you wanted to pivot at some point, you could pivot?
Nah, because what I do is inherently me. That's the thing. I'm authentic to myself. And that's what I will always be. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing all black. I could wear a fucking pink. I was snowboarding in a pink shirt the other day. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't have, that's still me. You know what I mean? It's the clothes, the drab, the rings, the neck, the jewelry, the fucking makeup. Underneath all of it is still Mike.
Yeah.
And that's, I think sometimes that there's a weird preconceived notion with that where it's like, oh, you know, I've been wearing this type of shit since, I mean, this is pretty heavy. But like, I've been wearing all black since I was in fucking 6th grade. I was the weird little emo kid that used to get beat up and shit. So it's like, this has always been me. I'm always inherently me. And I think that's not going to change. Because, I mean, there's most days I'm lazy as shit. I don't get fucking all dressed up. Only reason I'm wearing all this shit is because I was at Cirque du Soleil last night and I stayed in downtown.
Yeah.
You know me. Normally I pull up in sweats and a hoodie. Like, I'm just fucking chilling. And
I'm in sweats right now.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is going to be is in Nashville is like out here. LA is a weird town, right? Like, you know, everybody's tatted, everybody's unique in their own way. Nashville's not like that at all. So I have a couple homegirls that are either from Nashville or spent time there, and they're like, "You're gonna love it because you're gonna stick the fuck out way more than you're used to."
Oh yeah,
which is dope. Like I don't dress this shit for attention. I don't want people to talk to me. Leave me the fuck alone. If you see me out in public, unless you like my music. If you like my music, come say what's up.
Yeah.
But if you want something from, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Like I don't want to talk to people.
Well, and I obviously I've known you for a long time. Mike is one of the nicest people I know, and I think he's got this exterior sometimes that comes across like you're like this like overly like I don't even know, like intense human, but in all reality, like as he's hitting a stretch right now. But you're the super nice person. You're also super transparent about like how you feel, and you're this, you know, and you have this bright personality. And for people who are just nice to you, you're overly nice to them back. You're always so there hard for people. Yeah. So have you always been like that transparent and open, or is that like what caused that?
No, I've always been an open book, and that shit bites you in the ass. It does. Don't get me wrong. Being this super nice fucking person to everybody you meet it's great, but people mistake your kindness for weakness. That's a line that gets drawn with me all the time. Yeah. Where I'm like, yo, you do see how I dress and the music I make and the songs that I write and the lyrics that I write. I really fucking deal with that shit up in my head. So it's like, don't push me too hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm a puppy dog. I'm a fucking sweetheart. But if you push me too hard, you're gonna see me go DC real quick. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that is one thing I have dealt with. If you're bringing that up, you know what I mean. Oh yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's a very so. I mean, even going into let's talk about like fans. So obviously, you've been dealing with some crazy shit right now. Yeah. We're not gonna dive deep into that.
We can address it, but we don't have to. I don't not.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot going on with everything. And so for people who don't know, you've dealt with a overly obsessive fan who has caused a lot of shit. Like just they're doing some crazy stuff.
Oh, they started harassing like I'm not going to go super into it, but like harassing me, then started harassing my friends, like other artists I work with, started harassing every like partner and brand and sponsor that I work with, like companies that I work with, like Blackcraft, Inked Mag, fucking Revolver, all the media outlets, the festivals that I'm playing, the shows that I'm playing. Started hitting up my fucking ex-girlfriend. I was like, yo, y'all are just... And now I'm in the fucking midst of fucking filing a restraining order.
And what causes? Just somebody that you didn't engage with, or like...
It's a mix, man, because it's someone that I used to engage with, because as an artist nowadays, you are taught to... And not even taught, like it's a stigma. God, I'm going to keep using that word. That you need to interact with your fans. Yeah. And every fan that I've ever had has always told me, you interact with us more than 95% of the artists that I've ever spoken to.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because, bro, I'm like, I try my hardest. I care about people. I know I'm not your fucking best friend. You know what I mean? And that's the problem, though. And that's the thing is, like, I'm just doing my job. Obviously, I like talking to people. I like saying what's up. I like the people that support me. You're spending your hard-earned money on my merch. I love you for that. You know, and I want to show love back. That's what I'm trying to do by, you know, having these conversations and the small conversations. We're talking like DM conversations, right? But then for some people who, you know, and I don't know how to word this correctly, but for me and for, I would say most people, most fans are always like, oh, cool. Yeah. It's just Mike interacting. Some people are like, oh, he responded. Oh, we're best friends now.
Right.
Oh, he responds to my messages when I like, you know, when I tag him and shit. Well, yeah, because I like the fact that you're sharing my music and I'm trying to show some love. But we don't have a personal relationship.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's where it starts to get into scary waters. Because now, you know, this is a fan, like the issue I had with this one fan was, you know, she was a really diehard fan. She has like a bunch of tattoos for my music and shit, and that's really awesome. But when it starts to go into the personal life stuff, and they get a little closer to you, and you're not really comfortable with that, and you reject that, that's when things hit the fan, and then all of a sudden it's just a shitstorm. And so I think now I have kind of like PTSD from that, because I had bro, when I was going through this, I was eating one meal a day because I wasn't even thinking about food. I wasn't sleeping. I was having panic attacks. I was like, this shit's real. You know what I mean? I had a buddy of mine who's in a band. I'm not going to name the band, but he reached out when I, was addressing this online, and he said, hey man, like the amount of musicians, first off, that responded when I was addressing this restraining order shit online, the amount of musicians that responded saying, I'm sorry you're going through this. I have the same situation. I've gone through this, or I'm going through this, was alarming. Was like, holy shit, like this is just life now.
Yeah.
Like motherfuckers, like all of us have to get restraining orders on crazy people. And my buddy in a band literally hit me up. He was like, yeah, I had to get a restraining order on a fan that had been like obsessed with me for years. And then she called my label, pretended to be a press outlet, got an interview.
Oh, wow.
And he said he walked into this room expecting to do an interview, and there's this fan was across the table, this like psychotic fan that's been obsessed with him and like stalking him for years. He literally was like, I thought I was going to die. Like, he's like, my life flashed before my eyes. He was like, I legitimately thought I was going to get shot.
That's terrifying.
And he was like, yeah, like restraining order immediately. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
shit's cool. Like, being a musician's fucking cool. It is. Don't get me wrong. Like, playing shows in front of thousands of people and having people, get my lyrics or my logo tattooed on them, dude, that shit makes me feel up here. That shit makes me, the adrenaline that gives me is just unprecedented. But that shit gets scary too. I had 2 fans a long time ago. I don't even think I've ever talked about this publicly, because I don't want those fans to hear this and then be upset.
Right.
I had 2 fans show up to my fucking grandma's beach house a couple years ago. Yeah, bro, like this shit's real. We really live this shit. I had fans. I had taken a picture off of the balcony of the top of my grandmother's beach house. Across the street, there were houses and then the ocean. Like it was a scenic, serene picture.
Yeah.
That's all I did. I posted that shit on my story. They zoomed in on the houses across the street, found the address of those houses, they knew which beach I was at because I was a small island, drove and found those houses across the street and used it to figure out, okay, Mike's going to be on that house across over there. Yeah, no.
That's terrifying.
Nah, bro. And like, to me, it was fine because the fans were like 14 or 16. It was like 2 sisters or something, or 2 friends, and the mom drove them. And, there's no harm there. There's no threat, right? But the fact that my grandma was so like thrown off, because she's old, but my grandma at the time, she was like probably 85.
Yeah.
And my grandma, why are there people at my house? Why are there people showing up for Michael at my house? My whole family, it was like a family vacation. My whole family was wigging out, being like, how the fuck did they find the house? Blah, 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 blah. And like, to me, I'm like, yo, it's all good. They found me, like, because I was down at the beach at the time. So my dad sent them down there. I saw him, super friendly. We took pictures, whatever. Now that I think about it, I should have yelled at the mom. Been like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this shit's not cool. You can't just show up to my house, show up to my grandmother's beach house and think that that's okay. You see where I'm getting.
Oh yeah. I think we've talked in the last few years a lot about consent, and like there's consent to also like be in someone's personal space, if you said, I'm doing a meetup in such and such beach, Daytona, come meet me here. Like you are giving consent for people to come to that location and meet you. But when you were at a private residence with your family, spending time with them, that is not an invite for people to try to find you and to connect with you. Bro, like, that's not fair. Like that's
the thing is, people forget that I don't like using this word because I don't view myself this way. I don't view myself as a celebrity.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. People forget that musicians, celebrities, whatever, are real fucking people, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have my own issues that I have to deal with. I have my own shit that I still pay bills like the rest of everybody.
Yeah.
We do the same shit. But the thing is that once they see like, I don't know, this film, they're looking at it with rose-colored glasses, that they think they can do or act or say things on the internet or treat you a certain way because you might have a following or a career. That's not how it works, dude. Like, that shit affects me, bro. I've had fans. This shit's weird, and this is mad funny. I have friends that have said the same thing, other like creators. that you'll have fans DM you in your like message requests that are like, oh my God, I love you, I love you, I love you, like for weeks, days on end. And then because you never respond to them, fuck you, I hate you.
Yeah.
Kill yourself. Shit like that, bro. Like literally like very aggressive hatred because you just didn't open their message. Bro, you know how many fucking messages I get in a day? It's not my job to go through my messages and message everybody back. I do that because I want to. Not everybody, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people forget we're normal humans, bro. I'm really living this shit. I'm really dealing with my own shit, like having my own squirrels in my brain.
Well, and so I think this is kind of a deeper question, but like obviously the music industry is incredibly tough, like dealing with the just exhausting schedule that it is, dealing with engaging with your fan base, dealing with just finding time to take for yourself, spending time with family and friends who you don't want to ignore, spending time in your creative process and everything like that. It's a very exhausting industry, having to maintain relevancy during things like COVID where you can't be touring and stuff like that. What do you do to maintain your mental health? Because obviously it's a very difficult thing. We've seen a lot of music artists not basically, pass basically far too soon because they weren't able to take care of their mental health. So what are you doing, or what do you want to do? How about that? Because I know, because you're laughing.
How you're like, what do you do to maintain your mental health? I just cocked my eyes. I was like I cocked my jaw. I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of spiraling 24/7.
So how do we change that? Because obviously we don't want you to be a headline someday, right?
Oh well, yeah, no facts.
But we
don't want Mike really dead.
So how do we make sure of that?
No, I mean, I think there's obviously aspects that that work into the career that we do that you have to kind of. I meditate, I journal, I exercise every day. I do certain things to keep me at a certain level.
Yeah.
Because, bro, when I'm telling you I have a million things to do, I have a million things to do every day. And I know this because I know how busy you are.
Yeah.
And it's bro, it's the most stressful, overwhelming thing ever. Me personally, I have a pretty bad anxiety disorder. So it's like very hard for me to get through things without fucking tweaking about a bajillion other things, like just how my brain works. So you have to make time for yourself. And you have to make time for your own mental health. I know there's nights, like I work all day. I have to cap myself off at like 7 or 8 because I will work until I go to sleep, which is not good for your mental health.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's nights where I hit the 7 or 8 o'clock mark and I have invites to do whatever the fuck. I went to fucking Cirque du Soleil last night. What the fuck? That makes no sense. But you see what I'm saying? I have invites from 3 different friends to go to a bar, to this club, to this show. There's nights where I'm purposely going, fuck off, no. I just want to sit and maybe watch a movie, or like literally I need time for me. You have to take me time, and it's not selfish by any means. You need to take Marc Colcer time. Mike has to take Mike time. Anyone, if you're listening, like you have to take your time because that's what keeps your mental health adequate, especially in a go lifestyle. I mean, bro, like, yeah, we have the fucking big LA show coming up on top of the 40 unreleased songs I have, on top of the labels that want to sign me right now, on top of the festivals coming up, on top of any other ancillary thing that falls in that. And I deal with that every day from the moment my eyes are open.
So when you get to Nashville, obviously it's a new start for you, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be fire.
So what are some of the goals that you have for yourself? Like, are there certain things that you want to do to make sure you're taking care of yourself when you're in Nashville?
I think in general, I mean, the house that we have is better situation, right? Better house, better living situation. Only one roommate. It's a good friend of mine who runs a brand consulting agency, and I think it's valued over around like $4 million in equity.
There we go.
Kid's a fucking tank. He's like 24 too.
Love it.
Kid's a fucking tank. But that being said, beautiful house, only one roommate. He's got a dog, big house, nice backyard. I have 2 rooms, so one for my studio, one for my bedroom, which I'm not used to having that in the house because obviously in LA,
right,
bro, you want to pay for 2 rooms in LA, you're paying $2,800 a month just for you.
Yeah.
So that alone is going to put me in a better situation. My management team is in Nashville. The offices that they work out of are the BMG offices, so I actually can go in and use $100,000 studios at the BMG offices and just pull up for free, which is fucking amazing to me.
Oh yeah.
I don't know a lot of people in Nashville, which is good because you know me, I'm kind of a recluse. I go out and I socialize, don't get me wrong, but like I drink maybe once or twice a month. I go out and I do that shit once or twice a month. Other than that, I'm chilling at home in my studio. So the fact that I don't know a lot of people is great because I'm like, cool, I'm going to just do me. I'm going to just sit and work. You know what I mean? I'm about to start doing a lot of shit for TikTok. I had a call with them like 2 weeks ago, and I'm about to start posting a lot on there and doing a lot of music related content on that platform. And so filming all that shit, doing covers, doing remixes, doing whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? It takes time. So really, that's what I'm just looking forward to, is having my own space, having, church and state separated, aka my, my office and my room, and just having time to get back into the creative flow of why I do music, and not this analytics, numbers, who's cooler than who, you know where I'm coming from. The LA bullshit that comes with that comes with living here. Where like, and I will admit, like you asked me earlier, this question of being like, oh, how do you think LA has changed you? Like, don't get me wrong, it has affected me more than just, oh, well, I have my guard up and I don't trust people anymore. It fucks with your head in the sense of like, oh, Instagram becomes reality. You know what I mean? Oh, how many followers they have, or how many followers this you're getting, the stats of your songs. Why don't I have this many monthly listeners and this guy does? It becomes weirdly competitive.
Oh yeah.
And then fucks with your mental health when you're waking up. And that's the thing. That's something, even referencing earlier, is like, it pins friends against each other. I don't really give a fuck about socials. I never have. I mean, I've always had a big social following, but like, I don't see it that way. I'm like, it just doesn't equate to me. So that shit don't affect me, but it affects other people. Mm-hmm. They say, oh, well, I have 20K on Instagram. Why does Mike have 200K? But my music is better. They might say to themselves, oh, my music is better than Mike's. Why is he getting more recognition? And then that makes them not like me. Right. That makes them compete with me subconsciously, which I don't want to compete with you, bro. You're my friend. I want to go up with you. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see you be successful while I'm trying to be successful. I want Roast Umber to fucking gross, like, which we haven't talked about. Marc owns a fucking coffee company called Roast Umber.
Hey, use the coupon code. We'll call it Mike's Dead. Use the coupon code Mike's Dead.
If they're still listening, it's been an hour, so if they're still listening, yes.
We'll plug everything in a sec. But yeah, if you're listening and you want some coffee, Roast Umber, use the code Mike's Dead. It'll get you 30% off. How about that?
Big facts.
I got to put that code in when we get done with this.
Yeah, hell yeah. That being said, it's like, I want to see Roast Umber gross $2 million in the next couple of years in product, right? I want to see the Marc Colcer podcast. I'd love for you to have like the craziest fucking people on here. I would be genuinely excited for you. I'd call you celebrating, be like, let's go get a drink, bro. Like, I'll get you a gift or something. Let me buy you fucking dinner. That's not how it is for most people out here. I've told motherfuckers like, oh, I just got signed to the same management team as Fleetwood Mac and ZZ Top and Seether. And they look at me and they go, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, you little bitch. I'm like, I don't fuck with that. Yeah. I don't fuck with that reaction. Yeah. I don't like, because if you tell me, oh, I bro, anything. Oh, hey, me and my fucking girlfriend got engaged, or hey, this and that, or I got a cool business opportunity, I got promoted at work. I'm going to write you the biggest congratulations that you can imagine. Yeah. And I'll be like, genuinely to my core, I'll be excited. Yeah. That's how it should be. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. LA fucks with you, and it turns people against you because they're competing. I don't want to compete with you, dude. The people that I'm competing with are like Jonathan Davis of Korn.
And you're not even
Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
And it's not even truly competing, because at the end of the day, like you want them to do well. You just want to see yourself on that same level.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the people that I compare myself to. Yeah. Because that's the lane and the people that I want to be associated with. Yeah. You know what I mean? When people are talking about like these fucking, like you said, these household name bands, in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm trying to be up with them. So I don't give a fuck about little small beef with motherfuckers at my level trying to compete with me, because it's like, y'all, you can keep burning through your mental, getting upset about that, or you can just focus on getting to a higher plane in your career and being on these bigger stages and working with these bigger bands. They're not my competition by any means. I want to work with these dudes. Yeah. I want Corey Taylor on a song. I want Jonathan Davis on a song. I want Fred Durst on a song. I want, the list goes on. But obviously it's like, you gotta set your standards and your goals. Yeah. At the proper
100%
rate, I guess.
So I know that you have to get going shortly, so I got like 2 last things for you, and we'll wrap it up. So one is a lighthearted question, because we've been talking about some heavier shit. We've been talking about a lot. So I've been recently binge watching Harry Potter. I'm a huge Harry Potter guy. God. And actually, that coaster that you put the coffee on, that's a Harry Potter coaster right there. That's the Marauder map for anybody who knows what the old Marauder map is. So I've been binge watching Harry Potter, and there's a combination of 2 characters that you remind me of. So I'm curious. I asked you before this.
Snape.
Okay. So I was going to say, which 2 characters?
Snape.
What? Okay. Wow. I thought that was going to fall there.
I know, so did I.
Okay. So it's Snape. And if you get the other one, there's 2 characters that you remind me of. One is Snape. If you get the other one, I'll be thoroughly impressed. Also, if you're a fan of Mike and you want to guess right now, here's your opportunity. Guess. But I am going to say who it is in a sec.
Present the question one more time.
There are two characters, a combination of two characters in Harry Potter that you remind me of.
Okay.
One is Snape. The other one,
I called Snape a mile away.
Yeah. Snape's an easy one.
Snape and fucking, are we talking like from a physical standpoint or are we talking personality?
Both.
Oh, fuck.
Because Snape would be the physical, because you're like kind of that like daunting, like
daunting,
fucking
lurking, fucking.
I would say the other guy still kind of from a physical, because he's also a big motherfucker, but he's like
not Hagrid.
Not Hagrid.
I was actually thinking Snape and Hagrid because Hagrid's like a sweetheart.
Okay,
it's the juxtaposition.
I could see that. It's
the dichotomy of it. You said the other dude's big.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna get it because.
Are you talking about maybe? I'm trying to think the other dude. Forget his name, but he's the guy. He has like a cane and he like lurks around.
Are you talking about the dude? What does he look like?
He's an older dude, like an older gentleman. He's kind of creepy looking.
Mad Eye Moody. I think that's who you're describing, and that's who I'm thinking of. Because Mad Eye Moody has a cane, and then he's...
you're talking about the dude with the glass eye.
Yes.
Okay, see, I'm talking about a different dude, but that is fucking funny.
Okay, and the reason why I say Mad Eye Moody and Snape is because Snape has that, like, lurking, like, kind of badass presence, kind of takes, like, the air out of people's lungs, but he is also, at the end of the day, like, they're actually, like, helping Harry at certain times when people wouldn't even realize he's doing that. Yeah. And then Mad Eye Moody is also a dude who looks kind of terrifying, but at the same time, he's, like, he's there to basically also help Harry, and he is like just that super
eccentric.
He's a badass.
Super eccentric.
When he like shoots his cane, he like hits the
ground.
Cane.
And does the shit.
It's badass. Yeah. So his wand is like a cane. That's crazy. Mad Eye Moody and Snape. That's what I was watching it the other day, and as we were talking about doing the podcast, I was like, Mike's kind of a combination of two of them.
Snape, I can see a mile away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually do have to.
All right, so plug your socials real quick.
I have to go to rehearsal. So
where can people find you?
One, get tickets to Freak Show at the end of this month, mikesdead.com, or to any of these festivals. I'd love to see people there.
Yep. And say unicorn to Mike at any of them. That'll let him.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at you weird. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm gonna be like, what? And then like, oh, Marc Colcer's podcast. I'll be like, oh, okay, my bad. And then Instagram is Mike's.dead, Twitter's Mike's_dead, Mike something dead on pretty much fucking everything. Spotify and Apple and all those things are obviously just Mike's Dead. Go listen to my most recent songs. Those are fucking sick. Or the Revenge EP that came out last year. That is a good culmination of music.
And lastly, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the Marc Colcer podcast, because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize it, and I'm like basically halfway there.
Think about last time we plugged the podcast so many times. We plugged the coffee and the podcast like shamelessly, like when we recorded last time. I think we plugged it like 6 times. We didn't plug it once.
Okay, so right here, Mike, give me a plug. So tell all the people who are loyal fans of Mike's Dead to go hit the subscribe button.
Go subscribe to Marc Colcer's podcast
on YouTube, because I need.
On YouTube.
Yeah, because I need to hit 1,000 subscribers in order to be able to monetize the episode. So tell them that.
Okay, go subscribe to Marc Colcer's YouTube channel so that this motherfucker can monetize shit. Don't be lazy. Honestly, it's just a click.
Because then I can move out to Nashville with Mike. I can have the house next to Mike.
No.
Oh, come on. I'm not invited?
No.
Do you have a couch that I can come crash on when I come visit?
I think my roommate's getting the couch today.
There we go. No, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to have the house next to you.
All the Southern girls, they belong to me now.
There we go. You're going to be on the next Morgan Wallen song singing Broadway Girls.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, guys. That's a wrap. Thank you for listening. Mike, thank you for coming on. Looking forward to your next chapter. And have a great day, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.